Hey everyone, it's Cam again for howtodigitalpaint.com, and we're continuing the Loomis study series, now in part 12, looking at page 37 to 39, and we're getting now into the ball and divided ball and plane method. So this is slightly more complicated, or I guess a less freeform style of working than the previous pages, since this one has more of a focus on realistic proportions rather than more of a caricature. So if you look at the construction, it's built from the ball, but he's actually sliced off the sides, and you'll see that in the diagram on the bottom left of page 37. So the head isn't a perfect ball. It's like got the sides sliced off as if it was clay, and you slice off the sides, and that makes it a bit more rigid. And then we're putting in the brow line, the hairline, base of the nose, and then the chin. So those are in thirds, and I'll show you more of that measurement later in the video. But here I'm just sketching. It's not really in the book, but I'm just showing you the application of it, how it can be used to draw a more realistic head structure. It may take you drawing this a few times to really understand it, understand what they're trying to represent with each form and what each of the lines is indicating. You'll notice there that halfway on the ball is where the ear starts, and also halfway horizontally is where the eyebrow line is. So it's still just drawing the ball and then attaching the shape below it. I'm skipping a few of these just for time. I'm actually going away soon, so I'm going to try to get through Fun with a pencil at least before I go. And then when I get back, I'll go through the other books, but I'm going to be gone for 3 months, so I want to leave with some content on the site that you can still study. So now this is using the same method but at an angle. So obviously copying from the book, but it takes a bit of, it feels like there's a 3D program going on in your head as you're trying to turn the shapes in 3 dimensions, as you try to figure out what the angles would be of each of the forms as you turn them. And yeah, definitely read the words. You might not really understand it, but if you then try to apply it in the drawing, you'll see, I'll figure out better what he's talking about. You'll see there I did the ball and then shaved off the sides at a bit of a diagonal, and then constructing the rest of the planes on top of that. So a lot of this, the planes has to do with the skull structure, which I'll show you a drawing of the skull later. But if you understand the underlying structure of the skull and then the muscles on top of that, you'll understand better what's happening with each of these planes. What I'm showing here is that you can measure 3/3 going from the start of the hairline, and then the second division being the brow line, and then the third division being the base of the nose, then down to the chin. And if you pause that just now, halfway from the top of the head down to the bottom of the chin is where the eyes will sit. So you can have a halfway line there, and then you can see in the red it demonstrates the division of thirds principle. But these are kind of a guide. You know, everybody's not going to have these same proportions, but it is something you can work with. And then if you're drawing from like a self-portrait, or if you're drawing from reference or whatever, or just trying to vary it up a bit, you can still use those as a guide and use it as a reference point in order to move things wider or closer and things like that. Now on page 39, I think. I kind of skipped the last page. You can read through all the text. Might be useful. So now showing more of the measurements involved with the hairline, brow line, base of the nose and the chin, and then constructing from there. And when drawing these, maybe use some reference as well and see how you can draw different features into the same kind of base. I'm not sure what to call it. I'm thinking in 3D terms, and if you're using a 3D program you might call it a base mesh, which is like the simplified base. And then you have